In a kingdom of gold and stone, where love was forbidden by walls and crowns, a prince risked everything for a village girl. Their story was never meant to be told, yet it still lives, whispered as legend. Amara was a village girl, born in the shadows of Eldoria's towering walls. Her days were filled with work, fetching water from the river, gathering firewood, and singing songs her mother once taught her. Her voice was soft but strong, carrying across the fields like a prayer. Life in the village was harsh, yet her heart was full of dreams. High above her world lived Prince Kale. From the balcony of the Golden Palace, he gazed out at the same river where Amara sang. Though draped in robes of silk and surrounded by luxury, Kale felt imprisoned by duty. His father, the king, demanded strength, obedience, and loyalty to the crown. But what Kale longed for was freedom, something far beyond the palace gates. One fateful day, the royal caravan thundered through the village. Horses stamped the earth, banners rippled in the wind, and the villagers bowed low in fear and reverence. All except one. Amara lifted her head, and for a brief heartbeat, her eyes locked with the prince's. It was not the gaze of a subject to her ruler, but of a woman to a man. For Kale the world stopped. For Amara the world shifted. That glance ignited something that neither crown nor wall could contain. Restless, Kale disguised himself as a commoner. One night, under the cover of darkness, he left the palace and walked to the river. There he found Amara singing to the moon. Night after night he returned. At first they spoke cautiously, of the weather, of the river, of dreams unspoken. But slowly, laughter replaced silence, and hands brushed too long to be accidents. Love bloomed, fragile yet fierce, like a wildflower growing between cracks of stone. But whispers are louder than silence. The guards noticed Kale's absence, and villagers began to speak of a hooded figure walking by the river. The rumor spread. The prince is seen with a village girl. The king's fury erupted like thunder. Amara was seized by soldiers and dragged before the royal court. The nobles stared at her with cold disdain, and the king's voice roared, calling her a temptress, a witch, a danger to the crown. Amara did not bow her head. "I am guilty only of love," she declared. But love, in the eyes of the court, was treason. She was banished, cast beyond the city walls, forbidden ever to return. The gates slammed shut, and Kale's cry was swallowed by stone. His heart was torn, but his chains were stronger. Months passed, and the kingdom faltered. Rebellion rose in the villages. The people, tired of hunger and endless taxes, carried torches against the crown. War ignited across Eldoria. Kale fought with sword in hand, but his spirit was weary. In one brutal battle he was struck down, his body broken. Bleeding and alone, he collapsed by the very river where he had first seen Amara. It was she who found him. Amara gasped, rushing to his side. Her hands, once soft, now roughened by survival, trembled as they held him. Tears fell freely as she whispered his name. Through sleepless nights she nursed his wounds, hiding him from soldiers who scoured the land. Their love, thought buried, rekindled stronger than ever. But danger pressed close. The king's men marched through the forests, torches in hand, hunting the runaway prince. Kale and Amara fled through mountains lashed by storms, across caves where wolves howled in the dark. Every trial tested their bond, but every heartbeat drew them closer together. Together they endured, hand in hand against the world. Yet their freedom was short-lived. Captured once more, Amara was thrown into the dungeon's shadows. Kale was dragged before the throne, beaten but unbroken. The king's voice thundered, "Choose, my son, your crown or this girl." Kale stood tall, His hand reached for the golden crown. For a moment silence reigned. Then, with steady resolve, he cast it down onto the marble floor. "I choose her," he said. Gasps filled the hall. The nobles whispered in shock. The king trembled with rage. But outside, the people had already heard the story. Whispers turned to roars. "The prince has chosen the girl," they cried. The people cheered not for a king, but for love. The walls of fear crumbled, and the king's power faltered. Kale and Amara fled once more, but this time not into hiding. They built a life beyond the mountains, far from the palace walls. He carved wood with his hands, she sang songs by the fire. Children played at their feet, and the river sang with them. Travelers say that even now, her voice can still be heard in the valleys. A song of love that defied crowns and thrones. A song that reminds us that true love cannot be silenced. And so, the story of Amara and Prince Kale became a legend. Not a tale of royalty, but a tale of courage. Not a tale of power, but of the heart. Thank you for listening. If this story touched your heart, share it, and remember, some legends are born not from crowns but from love itself.